Well, we're a little less than 50 miles outside of Washington, D.C., and on the banks of the Potomac River, which you can see right behind me. And I wanted to take just a couple minutes to share some reflections as this ride, this fourth and final ride for Renewables begins to wind down. Still got a couple days left, but we're getting close. And one of the thoughts, I hope you'll bear with me, I'm not reading off of notes or anything, this is all free flow consciousness, but one of the themes that has struck me on this journey is the fact that it's very appropriate that I'm doing this ride during autumn because I am entering the autumn of my life. And you know, it's been a rough entry. I'm 51 now. My 50th year was a pretty tough one. Tough adjustment. You know, you start to see that time's slipping away, and you know, it's you're just like, wow. You don't have time to do everything that you've dreamed about doing anymore. You don't have endless time. So, it's been an interesting year. Let's put it that way. But we got through it, and here we are. And you know, I'm in the autumn of my life now. Spring has passed. My spring was just wonderful. I had an idyllic childhood. Thank you to my parents, Sue and Jerry Weis, for the wonderful job they did of raising me and for being the wonderful parents that they were as I was growing up. I couldn't ask for better parents, and they gave me the guidance that I needed to be the person that I have become now, today. And they gave me that foundation, and you can't grow without a foundation. You know, without good soil, if you will. And they fertilized the soil of my existence as a child, and with all their love. And so I just want to give a shout out to my dad and to my mom, who's on the other side. And thank you. And so that was the spring of my life. The summer of my life was fabulous. I was born in the summer, so it makes sense. I would love the summer. And you know, what can I say? It's been a great ride. The summer of my life was full of adventure and discovery. And now I'm in the autumn of my life, the fall of my life. And you know, with winter down the road, I know that, I see that. And the question is, what do you do with the time that you have left? And so one of the things I decided to do was to take a stand on behalf of all the children of the world, all the other our non-human relatives that we share this planet with, and future generations, the 7 generations to come, and the Earth herself. I decided to take a stand against a transnational corporate bully called TransCanada, who is being coddled by President Obama. And I decided that's not okay. And it's not going to stand as long as I stand. And so that's why I decided to do this ride, and that's why I'm carrying a petition. 485 miles, symbolizing the 485-mile length of the southern leg of the Keystone XL tar sands pipeline. So that's one of the things that that I decided that I was going to do with the autumn of my life. But some other things I'm going to do that I think you may find of interest. One is, well, I'm certainly going to embrace as much adventure and discovery as I can, because that is when I feel most alive. And I felt very alive out here, you know, on the trail, and just discovering things and meeting people and engaging the earth and its creatures. So there's going to be a lot of that, but something else I wanted to talk about a little bit, if you'll hang with me here, is I believe it's time for a new social movement in this country and in this world. And personally, I think we need a movement that transcends the environmental movement. The environmental movement, in my humble opinion, is not enough to get the job done. That's been demonstrated over the past, you know, decade, I would say, pretty clearly. You know, when the environmental movement began in the 70s, it was on fire, and it was doing amazing things, and it still is doing amazing things. Don't get me wrong, but and I'm not talking about the grassroots environmental movement. I'm talking about the big, so-called big green groups, the Beltway Greens, and I'm not talking about their members even. It's just the way things go. When organizations are around for a long period of time and they get big and bureaucratic, they lose their edge, and sometimes they lose their sense of mission and purpose, and start becoming part of the system that they initially were formed to change. And I think that's happened with a lot of the larger environmental organizations in this country. And you know, I can only speak for the U.S., but I'm sure around the world as well. And you know, we're running out of time. If we want to keep living on this planet, we've got to make major change, and we've got to make it fast. And so I am, if I can be so bold as to do so, and announcing a new movement. It's called the Pro-Earth Movement, and it is open to every American, every human being who values clean water, fresh air, healthy food, in a climate that supports life. It's really that simple. There are no dues to be a member of the Pro-Earth Movement. There's no dues to pay. There's no organization to join. It's just a personal choice. You know, if these are things that you value, I invite you to become part of the Pro-Earth Movement. And let's get beyond labels. Environmentalists, what does that mean anyway? I mean, environment. Environment implies that there's something apart that we're trying to protect, and there's nothing apart. I mean, we're all the environment. We're all of the earth. So this is a fight for survival. This is a fight, and not even so much a fight. This should be a joyous struggle, based with the foundation of love, going back to my childhood, the spring of my existence, and I believe it needs to be based on love and, you know, mutual respect for one another and respect for the earth. And so I'm inviting anyone watching this video to join the Pro-Earth Movement. Let's have a movement that transcends the environmental movement. I think, you know, we need something bigger than that. We need something that's more inclusive. It's something that everybody feels like there's a place for them. And so I'm announcing today the Pro-Earth Movement and inviting you to join it. And everyone who's for the earth, for the wonderful things that the earth provides us, life and sustenance, please join. And there's no place to join but in your heart. And so let's get the work done that we need to do to stabilize our existence here, so that we can continue to live on this beautiful blue orb that's floating through the middle of the universe, that is so miraculously to sustain life, so miraculously sustaining life. I mean, what a miracle that we're even alive. So that's where I'm headed in the autumn of my life, and I hope you'll join me on that journey. And sometime after the first of the year, I'm going to be announcing a new initiative that will embrace the pro-Earth movement and help. I guess best way to say it would be provide a portal for the pro-Earth movement, for people to get involved and to engage in. And from there, let's just let it grow organically. I mean, it's not my movement. This is just an idea I have, and I want to share it with you. And let's all own it. And let's walk down a path of life and mutual support. And let's get back to native wisdom. And let's ask our native brothers and sisters to help us find our way back to living at peace with the earth. And this is going to be a great journey. And I'm very excited about it, actually. This is a hard time. We're going to lose a lot that we love already. We've gone so far. We're going to lose a lot. But there's so much left to be saved. And so let's celebrate that, and let's all just come together as one human family and do what's right for the future and for the present, and base it in love. And there's no force of greed or power that can overcome that. Love is the greatest power.